So I've got rocks on this side. I got some big rocks in the corner. There's a gap at the entrance over here to the greenhouse. And I'm not sure if I want to put rocks into there or how I want to deal with it, because it'd be nice to be able to get the wheelbarrow that direction, but maybe I'll just always decide to take the wheelbarrow around the other side. Then I got some gaps on the other side that I need to fill in with a couple little rocks. Feels like I'm building a rock wall or something, because I am building a rock wall. Alright, so last night I started seeing my green onions coming up. And now this morning I'm seeing some cilantro here and there in this flat. And then this last flat here, I am seeing some dill coming up. And no parsley in this section though. So these guys are gonna come from the house, and I'm gonna move them down to the greenhouse this morning. I think I might leave the row cover off the beds tonight for the very first time. It was actually 40 degrees last night, the first time it's been that warm this year. Okay, so I'm sitting out here in the new greenhouse. The other day I pulled all the boards and stuff off the middle of the ground here. Pulled that all up, kind of raked it so it'll kind of dry out. And then what I need to do is on the outside where I put the rocks along the base of the greenhouse, I need to like dig a trench on this one side so that water won't kind of come this direction. The soil is kind of, or the ground is sloped this direction. So I was thinking I'll dig that trench and use that dirt to throw it up against the rocks and kind of fill in the base. Okay, so I decided to go a little bit crazy and move some rocks over this section so that I can then throw some dirt on it and then level out this into kind of something I could get a wheelbarrow around maybe. And what I've been doing is I've been kind of concerned about what to do about this side because it's so full of like rocks and sticks, and I can't like hoe it to keep the weeds down or anything, and I don't have anything. I think eventually I'll plant some, native flowers like fireweed or something out here, but in the meantime, what I've decided to do is go ahead and pull the rocks out so I can use them, and then get all the sticks down right along the edge here. And then I can go down and hoe through here and take care of any of this grass or whatever's coming up. So anyway, I've turned this project into a lot more than I probably should have. Okay, so today I'm going to do some seeding. Yesterday I was out filling in around the greenhouse, and I also started kind of cleaning off that whole bank there. But it was, it sprinkled at first, but it really started actually raining pretty good. And then it rained all night and then all this morning. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to do some seeding today. But then the sun came out. But I went outside and, everything was still wet. And there's, like puddles and stuff like that. So, but I have some ideas. There's a number of different things I want to do as far as seeding. I wanted to get some berry plants this year and plant them into the hugelkultur that I built. But with this whole coronavirus thing, everything's kind of shut down, so wasn't sure how that was going to work out. But I remember looking at a video where somebody took some berries and put them in a blender and then let the seeds sink down to the bottom, and then they actually seeded berries. So I have frozen blueberries and raspberries, so I blended them up, and I'm just going to let them sink down and see what happens, and plant them into a little tub of starch soil and see if anything comes up. Can't hurt to try. The other thing is I've got some fireweed that I gathered last year, the seeds. I am going to try and start those too, because that's what I would like to plant along that bank there. And then these guys right here, I want to, last week I was supposed to start my basil and cucumbers. So I'm not that late. But anyway, so I'm going to put in this tray the basil and cucumbers. And those are what are supposed to go in the lights on the new shelves that I built. So I also got the shelves, those lights in the shelves today, and all I have are two lights. With these smaller soil block plugs that I have, I can actually fit all my cucumbers and basil into one flat. So I've got my two lights sitting close together, and I'm going to shove my flat underneath there, and that will be it. And so all the other flats that I had up here at the house, All I wanted to do was have them germinate here up in the house and then quickly get them out to the natural light in the greenhouse. And so anyway, that's what this tray is for, because I didn't get my lettuce out. It popped up way quicker than I expected and was already stretching its neck by the time I got it down to the greenhouse. So I'm going to reseed this with red and green sweet crisp Salanova lettuce. Anyway, oh, the other thing is too, I bought these extra plugs, like 7 extra plugs here. And I wasn't planning on doing the sunflower challenge this year, but I don't know, everybody's doing it and I want to have fun too. So I decided I'm going to use this bird seed and I'm going to start see if I can start some sunflower seeds. This is Nick's allotment diary. And I'll probably do another whole different video with this sunflower, but I'll put it in a bucket or a container or whatever and try and do the prettiest sunflower arrangement or whatever that category was. I forgot to talk about what I'm going to do with sugar snap peas. So, yeah, sugar snap peas. I was going to seed them into this flat, but I've been worried because these are smaller plugs and sugar snap peas tend to germinate really fast and grow really quickly. And I was afraid that by the time I could actually, with the weather, plant them out, that they would have overgrown these plugs. So I was kind of putting off seeding them. But then with this warm weather we've been getting, I mean, it was 42 degrees or something like that last night. And that's like so warm for here. And then we're getting in the high 40s and even we're forecast for like the 50s during the day. So I'm going to be really bad. And I think I'm going to direct seed my sugar snap peas into the bed out there. Hey, so it's a partly cloudy day today. And so I'm going to get a number of things done outside here. First things first, I got to water the greenhouse in here, and then I want to move like all the junk and stuff. Well, it's not junk, but my soil mix, and move it over to this other greenhouse here. Yeah, I get that other table and get my starts, you know, all neat and tidy in the center there. So then I think I'm gonna turn the seaweed under and then plant peas in it if I get to that today. Down in here, so I'm gonna go up to the house, grab that second table. All right, so I got my 2 tables in the greenhouse with the flats on top of them, plenty of room for the lettuce when I bring it down. And I've got the legs in water. Ideally, I would have a wider top here, because I don't know, maybe the slugs will be like, I can reach across there. Maybe I'll plant 2 rows in the future, but for now, this year, it's just gonna be 1 set of peas per row. 1 row of peas per bed. So anyway, I put this row cover over the top just so the birds won't fiddle with it, and I may go ahead and, oh my gosh, I see I was getting bothered by a mosquito out there, and now I'm seeing a couple. There's one, and there's one sitting right there on my phone. Oh my gosh. It's mosquito season, people. But I'm gonna move those rocks, I think, before I go in. All cleaned up. Something else. I discovered my beds are actually 40 feet, not 50 feet. My attention to detail isn't so great. Hey, so I actually made myself a list today because I got to do a number of little things. It's kind of just a little bit raining out, off and on, and then I came out here And the peas I planted and I put the row cover over yesterday, well, the deer kind of tromped through it, which I kind of expected. They kind of do that, but it just makes me think I got to get my fence post put together sooner and get those in. But anyway, so my list says I just mix some fertilizer into some soil mix because I want to plant my experiment of raspberries and blueberries, those little seeds, and also the fireweed. So I want to do that today. So I've got some soil going for that. I got some extra blocks in the greenhouse over there, which didn't have anything in them, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and start some bok choy so that I can plant those out to attract slugs away from the main garden area. And then also I've got some seed here for some mustard because supposedly slugs like mustard, and so I'm going to plant that at the edges of the greenhouse. I'll get that done today. I moved my lettuce, my flat of lettuce that was up at the house, to germinate. It hasn't germinated yet, but just to make sure I don't wait too long and have it pop up and get leggy on me, I brought it down to the greenhouse. And we'll go ahead and take a look over in the greenhouse. I'll give you kind of an end of week sort of, even though it's not really the end of the week quite yet, but progress on that. Another thing that I want to do along with starting the berries and fireweed is I've got some clover seed from many years, various years in the past, different bags, and I want to chit them to make sure they germinate because I want to undersow them in my new plot area. Yeah, let's first go take a look at the greenhouse. Okay, so down here at the end of the greenhouse, we've got the red dragon arugula, which is a wild arugula, slowly coming up. And right next to it here, the Speedy, which I'm going to cut today for salad. And the obsessive compulsive wacko in me wants to thin, but I think it's too late for that. But I may thin this chard and also this kale here. And then right next to it is the lettuce, which they're getting their first real leaves and doing well. It's interesting that this red over here seem to do way better in that cold weather than the green, which is coming up a lot spottier. And then we've got the Corvair spinach. This is doing really nicely, and I think I'm going to go ahead and cut some of this more mature stuff here today for salad. And then we've got the Escalade spinach, not doing quite as well, slower to grow. And then I've got this patch of herbs, cilantro, dill, parsley, and it's hard to tell what is weed and what is herb. And this other bed, these ends here, either end of the bed where I planted out my leggy lettuce, and they're doing fine. Got that old thing of kale that's been in here for a while, growing slowly, and radishes are up. But that's all that's up in this bed. So then starts, this is my mature chard. I'm going to plant the bok choy in these blocks here. And then I've got my scarlet kale, which is really hard to see, slower to germinate, always slower to germinate than the Italian. And with these, I planted a number of different, I had like a couple of seeds per block, and I've been thinning. So then I've got, what do I got here? Oh yeah, cilantro coming up, and my green onions, and then we've got some dill doing nicely, and this is the very first of the parsley, just started coming up today, and I've been doing really good. Every night I sit down and I document what happened that day. I've been doing good. So this is the red leaf and the green leaf lettuce the Salanova lettuce that I brought down from the house today. And I got my basil and cucumbers and sunflowers up at the house. So even on a rainy, overcast day, the temperature in the greenhouse is 57 degrees Fahrenheit, and up at the house it was 48, so about 10 degrees warmer here in the greenhouse. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I got a soil mix here. One for raspberries, one for blueberries, one for fireweed. And I wetted the soil, and I think I got it too wet, but anyway. So what I'm going to do is I've got a jar where I have, I was able to get the seeds settled down at the bottom here, and I'm not quite sure, they're little tiny seeds, especially for the blueberries. And so I think what I'm going to try and do here is just get them floating around a little bit and then pour them in to the soil. Yeah, anyway, if this doesn't work, I'm going to just do the whole process again. But anyway, here we go. Oh my gosh, this is not good. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, that wasn't the worst disaster in the whole world. So let's go ahead and do that with the raspberry too. They kind of just clumped in one area. But anyway, then I've got my fireweed here. And these are really tiny seeds. Teeny, tiny, tiny seeds. So what I think I'm going to do is just kind of go and take the little fluff buddies where the seeds are attached and just kind of lay them out evenly along here. Okay, with the fireweed, I actually decided to wet it first because this stuff was so fluffy. And I just put this in a shaker, this start soil. And I'm just gonna salt this. With these berries, I'm trying to go over here with a fork and just kind of rake the seeds across the top so they're a little bit more even. And I'm gonna go ahead and salt and pepper these little guys too. Okay, so I've got a little bit of soil over the top of these guys. I think I'm just gonna take them out to the greenhouse. Okay, so this is my last chore. I've got some New Zealand white clover. I used to always undersow my beds with this stuff because it fixes nitrogen. So these are really old. 2010, back in 2011, 2016, maybe, and then this other one that I have no idea. And then I found these carrots that actually, it was the only carrot that actually ever germinated and did well for me. So that's probably an old seed too. But anyway, so I'm just gonna see if these germinate for me.